welcome to the show Visitor Spoke. I'm your host Hira Mustafa, and today I'm here at the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba. Our guest today is His Excellency Zéner Caro Gonzalez. So let's go meet him and find out what he has to share about his experience here in Pakistan. Good morning, Excellency. So good to see you. Thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you and welcome to Cuba. Not only to the embassy, but also welcome to Cuba.
Thank you. I would like to start with, it's been like less than a year that you have been posted as an ambassador to Pakistan. How is your experience so far in the country?
Well, first let me confess you that I was very happy when I knew that I was posted here in Pakistan. It was not a surprise for myself, since I knew that there was a chance to be sent here to Pakistan. My boss, my minister, was my boss here in Pakistan the first time that I came.
All right.
So I knew that he would probably send me to Pakistan again. And now as an ambassador, I have a lot of feelings, very good feelings from my first time here and also this time. This is a country that I like. This is a country that I love. I know most of diplomats use nice words.
Yeah.
But from me are not nice words. This is the country that I want to be. This is the country that I want to be named as an ambassador. This is my first ambassadorial post.
All right.
And I've been feeling very, very happy and very comfortable since my arrival. And I'm happy to see the changes of the country, especially here in Islamabad, but I'm also happy to see how you are keeping the traditions and all the things that make Pakistan a very special country.
All right. So, I mean, when you got to know about your posting here in Pakistan, was your family happy? I mean, what was their expression?
You know, we were kind of expecting to be sent to Pakistan.
Okay.
Anyway, it's the first time for my family, my wife, my daughter, and my son was born here. And they were like, Pakistan is a country that we all know a little bit about. But it's a challenge, mainly because the culture is too different.
Yeah.
So my wife and my daughter has to adapt to a new culture. My daughter has been on China with me like 5 to 6 years.
All right.
But this is also so different to China. So they have high expectations. Until now, they're happy with our staying here in Islamabad.
Okay, that's so interesting to know. I mean, did you know enough about the country already? I mean, did you read about Pakistan before coming here?
Well, I have to tell you that in Pakistan, like in China, this is such an interesting country that you never learn a lot or enough about Pakistan. I've read a lot of Pakistani history when I came first in 2005.
Yeah.
And before coming now, I spent like 3 months reading a lot of books about Pakistani history.
All right, that's so interesting and fascinating that you were interested in literature, but we will be coming to that point afterwards. I would like to know, like, what would you say, like, as the pandemic is hitting hard now all over the world, how do you see Pakistan coping with the current situation?
Well, when you go through all the information that we have and all the statistics that we have, you have to admit that in some ways, Pakistan has done a very good job.
All right.
Your country has implemented very efficient mechanism to deal with COVID. In fact, the first and the second wave of COVID here in Pakistan were not as hard as in your neighboring countries, especially your very close neighbor country.
Yeah.
I think that this smart lockdown strategy has worked very well. The vaccination has gone very fast, especially in big cities like Islamabad. Right now, 70% of Islamabadians are already vaccinated.
Yeah. So, Excellency, I would like to know about the situation in Cuba right now. And according to the stats, Cuba was the country that contained the virus in the first wave of the pandemic. But the cases are increasing now. Would you like to talk about that?
1 year from now, July, August 2020, we believe that we have defeated COVID. Because we have spent some days with 0 cases in Cuba.
Yeah.
And the first 2 waves, they were not so hard, so we managed to deal with the COVID first 2 waves in a very efficient way. We were having like 50, 60 cases daily, and we were very worried at that time. But with the new Delta variant that is being hitting all over the world,
Yeah.
we had a new situation since probably March of this year. So we went from 50 cases daily to 9,000 cases daily at this moment, at this time. It's been really a challenge for us.
Yeah.
Because even when we have a strong healthcare system, and we are developing, and we have our own vaccines to deal with COVID, this Delta variant is been very hard, not only for us, it's been very hard for the whole world.
Yeah.
And right now we have we are estimating that probably we will have a very hard situation till the end of September or the beginning of October. When at that time we expect that all the new cases will begin to decline.
All right.
But it's been very hard to keep the control of the pandemic because there is new variants coming.
So what policies is your government working on to contain the virus?
Well, first, at this point, at the
Yeah.
beginning, we were using lockdowns like everybody, and we have also our kind of smart lockdowns like here in Pakistan, and they were efficient at that time. But against Delta, all the strategies has changed, and now the most important, our priority is to get our whole population vaccinated.
All right, Excellency. So, I mean, Cuba has developed its own vaccine. I mean, the clinical trials are still going on.
Well, as you said, Cuba has developed 5 different kind of vaccines. For 3 of them, we already have the approval of our draft of our regulatory agency.
All right.
So the first 3 are already vaccines. We are sending all the papers to the World Health Organization in order to get the international approval. These 3 first vaccines, Abdala, Soberana, and Soberana Plus,
Okay.
are the ones that we're using in Cuba. We developed some trials also in Iran
Okay.
and also in Venezuela. So we're the
Interesting.
countries that we choose for make the first trials because at the beginning we have not enough cases in Cuba.
True.
The results till now have been very good. So both Soberana Plus and Abdala are showing 92% of efficiency. Of course, these are only preliminary numbers because we are now dealing with Delta.
Yes.
But I have to tell you from the experience of my friends, of my family, that what is happening is that people who are having the 3 shots of Soberana or Abdala,
Yes.
even if they get sick, they don't develop the illness in a very bad stage. It's just
Alright.
mild symptoms or no symptoms at all.
Okay.
And we are, besides those 3 vaccines, we are also testing 2 more vaccines. One is nasal drops,
Okay.
that it will be very useful for kids. In fact, that's the one that I used before coming to Pakistan. I was
Oh.
part of the trial. And it seems to be very efficient against COVID.
Okay, all right. And now I would like to talk about your educational background. You did your postgraduate in Chinese language.
Yeah.
What made you study Chinese language?
I was sent to one of the best Chinese schools, the Beijing University. It's probably the best over there. And suddenly I was surrounded by a lot of foreigners
All right.
from all over the world, including Pakistan. I have 2 very good friends of Pakistan in my classroom. And I have to adapt at the same time to a new culture, to a new weather, because I arrived on winter.
Yeah.
And in Cuba we have no winter. And I have to adapt it also to the language. At the beginning it was very difficult. In my school we only have 2 Cubans and we only speak Spanish.
Okay.
But it was very interesting, and that suddenly you realize that you can speak a little bit more, and you went to the markets and you went to see some families, Chinese families. And overall it was a very good experience. A very good experience, very interesting. And I spent there 2.5 years studying Chinese, and then after that I've spent like 10 years working on China.
Oh wow, that's so interesting. So Excellency, being a diplomat, how fascinating it is to travel different parts of the world.
This is a career that most of people believe that is only fascinating because we go abroad, we go to different countries. but this is a very hard profession. This is a very hard career because it's true that I've been to, I don't know, more than 20 countries, around 20 countries, but it implies a lot of sacrifices because when I went to other country, I usually don't go with my family. Sometimes I've been, I don't know, like here in Pakistan, the first time I spent 8 months
without your family?
Without my family, by myself, not my father, not my mother, and I miss them.
So are they here with you now?
No, here with me now it's only my wife.
All right.
My 10 years old daughter, and since June the 2nd, so like almost 3 months, my baby boy that was born here in Pakistan. He's a Cuba Pakistani baby boy.
Yes. I mean, Excellency, you have traveled, 20 countries, as you mentioned already.
Yeah.
So what do you miss most about your own country, Cuba?
First, my family, as I told you previously, my family, my friends. Now it's easy because now we have WhatsApp and we have all these IT technologies that allows you to chat with them and to see them every day. But I miss that. I miss Cuban food. We used to cook Cuban food here, but it's not the same. And I'm missing the beaches. You have no beaches here, only probably in Karachi.
Karachi, yes.
I'm missing the sea. My office in Cuba is in front of the sea line. So every time that I'm just stressed, I just looked into the sea.
Had that wonderful view in front of you.
I'm missing the sea. I have to be honest, probably Cubans, when we go abroad, what we miss the most is the sea line. Because we have it in every single city of our country.
Oh, so maybe I can say that you are more a beachy person, a person who's fond of beaches.
I would like to see that I'm more an island person. A person from an island, from a small island, that love to see, to have the sea very near, but also the mountains. Here I have the mountains.
Yes.
I have Margala Hills in front of my office, but I'm missing the sea.
All right, and now it's time to take a short break. I will see you guys in a while. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with Mr. Zéner Caro. So, Excellency, would you like to describe this beautiful scenic view?
Well, when we start this interview, I just welcome you and your team to Cuba. Now I'm welcoming you and your team to Havana, to my city. This is the place I was born in, and this is the capital of Cuba. This is the old Havana, as we call it. And here you can see, for instance, behind me, this is the tallest building.
All right.
This is the headquarters of the Cuba National Assembly. And there's also some office over there. It's similar like the one that they have in the US. And there is another one in Puerto Rico also. It's the same kind of building. You have over here, you have a hotel, another hotel over there, and you have in the backside, you have a theater and some buildings. This is the old part of Havana. There you can find buildings of around 300, 400 years. It's one of our favorite parts of Havana. I'm from the other side of Havana. I'm from the new side of Havana. But this is one of the places that we like. And then I will show you more pictures of Havana, especially from old Havana. You can see the sea and everything.
All right.
From Cuba. This is a gift for you.
Oh, okay.
And for your team.
So much. Thank you so much. So, Excellency, your wife also comes from a diplomatic background.
Yeah.
And she's the third secretary here in Pakistan. How do you guys manage your time accordingly?
We have spent here 8 months, and I'm probably not ready to answer you that question. Because diplomatic timing is always hard to manage.
Yeah.
Even now, when we are in the midst of COVID and there's not so many activities and receptions, you have to deal with everything. And this is a small embassy. We used to make jokes about that. And half of the embassy, and my wife is the other half of the embassy from the Cuban side. And I have my 5 fabulous Pakistani staff. And it's hard to manage the time. Sometimes we need to switch timing. I work in the morning, she works in the afternoon. We also have to take care of our baby.
Yes.
And but I think that so far we are dealing in a very efficient way.
Okay, so like, is she also from Cuba, and where did you meet with her?
She's also from Cuba. In Cuba, she's a translator of English. We didn't meet in Cuba. We met in Dominican Republic.
Oh.
We went to an international conference in Dominican Republic. I went first, and then she arrived as a translator of one Cuba deputy minister of MOFA. We just met there.
All right.
And it was like a spark.
Oh, okay.
It's been 2.5 years since then, and we have been working and living together since that time, 2009.
Okay.
This is the first time for her in an embassy, but she's doing very well. She's doing very well.
All right. Excellency, you started your diplomatic career in 1999.
Yes.
And how did you end up being a diplomat? Do you always wanted to be a diplomat, or there was something else you wanted to focus on?
My first idea of being someone in the future was never related with international relations.
All right.
My first dream was to be a journalist,
Oh,
like you.
Interesting.
But when I was in high school, I was not this kind of nice person that I'm right now. I was more like a crazy young person. And I just made the decision to study sociology at that time because it was a new career in Cuba.
Okay.
It was only open for like 4 years or 5 years. So I said, this is a new career, so this is a challenge. And I just took it like a challenge.
All right.
I just put apart my dream of being a journalist. But when I was in 3rd or 4th year of the sociology career, I decided I don't want to be this. I just going to finish my career, but I don't want to do this. And when I was in the last year, they opened the Foreign Affairs College for postgraduate students.
All right.
I just did the test, and I just entered into the Foreign Office. It was by chance. It was not my idea. I always loved international relations. But from an outside perspective, maybe like you, as a journalist or as an academic, I never in my life dreamed to be a diplomat. And as you have said, it's been 21 years in this amazing and very hard career of being a diplomat.
Yeah, so it turned out to be a good choice for you, I guess.
At the end, yeah, it's been a very good choice. I realized very soon, probably 2000, 2001, 2002, I realized that I like this. I realized that I can help my country and my people in this career in a better way. And you know, it's like when you are in swimming and there comes a wave and you just let yourself.
Yeah, going with the flow.
Yeah, going with the flow, and I've been going with the flow for 21 years. And I'm happy with my choice.
All right. Excellency, you first arrived in Pakistan back in 2005 after Kashmir earthquake.
Yeah.
I mean, what were your thoughts when you landed in the country at that time?
You know, I remember that when I first saw the news about the Kashmir earthquake,
Yes.
It was October the 8th. I was very shocked. It's probably the first time that I saw such a strong earthquake in the news. And when my minister called me and told me we're going to send a medical team to Pakistan and we want you to be there with them.
Yes.
At the beginning, I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
At that time, we didn't have an embassy here. I was probably with my team. We were the first Cuban to arrive in Pakistan in a long time.
All right.
But from our arrival, the Pakistani government at that time, the Pakistani people were very friendly with us. They were very helpful. And after 1 week here in Islamabad, we went to the northern areas, to Kashmir and to KPK. At that time, it was NWFP. And we just installed like 26 hospitals.
All right.
We spent here 8 months. And my deepest impression from Pakistan and from Pakistani people came from that time. I always said that I learned to love Pakistan during those hard times.
Excellency, how would you describe the bilateral relations in terms, in the light of this incident, as Pakistan was going very tough time at that time?
Well, we used to say that 2005 earthquake was the turning point of the Cuba-Pakistan relations. We have had diplomatic relations for more than 55 years at that time, but as I told you, we didn't have an embassy here. Pakistan didn't have an embassy in Cuba also.
Yes.
And we were friends, but long-distance friends. From 2005, we started a new epoch, a new stage in our relations. I can say that right now we are having very good political relations, excellent political relations, no matter which government is in each country. We have had very fruitful cooperation. And what we are trying to do right now is to set a new stage from the diplomatic relations or from the bilateral relations. We are working hard in the economic field, in the trade field, in the biotech or education cooperation field, because we feel that we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of potentialities to improve Cuba-Pakistan relations. This is a country that most people in Cuba like, that most people in Cuba love. And I found a lot of people here in Pakistan interested in improve the relation with Cuba, and that's the job that I have to do during the next 4 to 5 years.
All right. So, Excellency, what are the major imports and exports between the two countries?
You know, trade and exports are a huge task that we have for the present and for the future. During the last years, we have been importing Pakistani textiles, mainly, some Pakistani rice at some point. But during the last years, maybe because of COVID, we have had not a big amount of trade. And we are trying to get new ways to expand our trade. Mainly, I have a dream of bringing more Pakistani goods to Cuba.
All right.
I'd like to bring Pakistani rice, it's probably the best rice in the world. More Pakistani textile, surgical instruments.
Yes.
Pakistani surgical instruments are incredible. And I'm also hopeful that I can bring some Cuban goods to Pakistan, coffee or sugar.
Yes. They're famous worldwide.
Yeah. Cigars, biotech products.
Yeah.
So trade is one of my main priorities here. And I'm hoping that I can find ways to expand the trade between the two countries.
Excellency, if we talk about the education, the literacy rate in Cuba is 99%.
Yeah.
Is your government interested in investing in education sector in Pakistan?
Yes.
And how can we improve our literacy rate?
Well, both education and healthcare are the priorities from my government in the cooperation with Pakistan. In fact, after the earthquake from 2007 to 2014 around, we graduated 936 Pakistani students in Cuba from medicine. Most of them are working now in Pakistani hospitals. And now we are offering one scholarship every year of medicine, but we want to explore new ways to improve our education cooperation. We are thinking on training Pakistani nurses, for instance.
All right.
We already train Pakistani doctors. It's time to train Pakistani nurses. We are also thinking on the ways to bring Cuban professors here to Pakistan, maybe to some colleges.
Okay.
Maybe to teach Spanish language or some other subjects. And we are also trying to get more Pakistani postgraduate students to go to Cuba to study different specialties.
Do you think that people back home in Cuba know much about our country, Pakistan?
Well, I think that before 2005, before the earthquake, probably the only thing that most Cuban people knows about Pakistan, that it was a country that at some point was together with India, and that is a Muslim country, and probably nothing else. After 2005, Cuban people knows a little more about Pakistan. They know about Pakistani culture, Pakistani history. Now we know a little bit about Pakistani sportsmen, not cricket, but other sports like hockey, for instance.
All right.
And what we are trying to do during these years is trying to get our culture closer.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to see Indian movies in Cuba. I want Cuban people to see Pakistani movies. At some point, Pakistani movie industry was bigger than the Indian.
Yes.
And I want Cuban people to know a little more about Pakistani music, for instance. And I want to take some Pakistani writers to Cuba to show their books in Cuba also, because Pakistani literature is quite amazing.
Oh, wow. I hope, this aim of yours turns into a reality soon. And Excellency, I would like to know, in one of your interviews, you said that you aim to promote far more real and positive perspective of Pakistan. Do you still believe that Pakistan gets an unfair press abroad?
Yeah, this is a reality that both Cuba and Pakistan are facing. We are both countries that face a lot of fake news, a lot of disinformation campaigns. As Pakistan, Cuba has also a big neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention, but you know. And from that big neighbor, like from the big neighbor that you have, there's people using Twitter, WhatsApp.
To spread fake news.
Yeah, fake news and fake.
And misinformation.
All these hashtags and misinformation. And since my arrival, as you said, I will always like to promote a positive image of Pakistan. I'm going to give you an example. I was talking with a Cuban friend, and when I asked him about Pakistan, he said, 9/11, you know, the attacks in New York.
Yes.
And I told him, do you know that from the 15 people who went to 9/11, the terrorists, none of them were from Pakistan? Not a single of them were from Pakistan? Not a single Pakistani has ever attacked the US or Europe.
All right. Excellency, you have seen Pakistan change in front of your eyes. How would you see that, how would you define, in fact, the security situation back then in 2005 with the current situation in Pakistan right now?
Well, back in 2005, we have a very special situation because we have the earthquake. And everybody was thinking on the earthquake. So we have no safety problem at that time. The safety problem came later, 2009, 2010, after all the US drones in Afghanistan and all that problem with the Pakistani Taliban. At that time, my friends told me that the safety situation here was not so good. But as far as I've seen till now, here in Islamabad and in Rawalpindi, the safety situation has changed a lot. For instance, I used to walk every day like 5-6 kilometers alone for every side of Islamabad. I used to take different ways.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever bothered me. It's been, I don't know, more than 2-3 years without the terrorist attack here in Islamabad. The city is safe.
Yes.
And the situation has changed a lot. And I think it has to be with the change of on the mentality of some people about Pakistan also, no? And I feel safe. My daughter is in a Pakistani school. It's an international, but it's a Pakistani school and it's safe also.
Yeah. All right, and now it's time to take a short break. I'm here in conversation with His Excellency Zéner Caro Gonzalez. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with His Excellency Zéner Caro Gonzalez. So, Mr. Ambassador, now I would like to talk about China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, as most of the regional countries are investing in this project. What is the stance of the Cuban government?
Well, as Pakistan, China is also one of our biggest trade partners. It's also one of our older friends in the international community. And of course, we are very interested in the developments of the CPEC, as we are very interested also in the developments of China's biggest framework of what they call the new Silk Route.
Yes.
So we are thinking and we are exploring some projects, mainly on the biotech sector. And we have already some negotiations with some Pakistani enterprises and also with the government in order to probably establish a a production plant here in Pakistan, a factory for biotech products. So we can produce it here in Pakistan, vaccines and biotech products, and we can export it to other countries through CPEC. That's one of our long-term goals here in Pakistan. I've been close following all these CPEC projects, and I think that it's a huge opportunity for the development not only of Pakistan and China, but also for the development of the region.
All right.
And Cuba can have some advantage from that.
So, Excellency, are there any Cuban companies already operating in Pakistan?
No, not directly. We have some companies that are in deals with different Pakistani companies, especially in the biotech and pharmaceutical sectors.
All right.
We're dealing with companies from Karachi mainly, and also from Lahore. And we are working to try to finish during this year some agreements between those enterprises, and inshallah, by the end of this year or next year, we will be talking about Cuban enterprises dealing directly here in Pakistan.
So, Excellency, now Pakistan is focusing on tourism sector. Have you managed to see Pakistan enough already?
Well, not this time because of COVID, but when I was here in 2005, I had the chance to see the beautiful landscapes of the northern areas. In fact, my favorite place in Pakistan, it's the valley of Muzaffarabad.
Oh, okay.
Where the Jhelum River just make a new shape, and then you have the Neelam River. That place, that specific place, is my favorite place in Pakistan. I know that you have Hunza, you have Swat.
Yes.
And I know that specifically the northern areas has some of the most beautiful places in the world, including all the big mountains like the K2.
Yes. Excellency, would you like to say that, or maybe you can highlight the similarities or differences between the two countries in terms of culture?
Well, for most people, Cuba and Pakistan are very different. Our cultures are very different. We come from different historical backgrounds. You were, from some time, you were a colony of the Britain Empire, and we were a colony of the Spanish Empire, and that makes a huge difference. But I have to be honest. I think that the main difference are related with religion. So the Islamic religion has some sets of values and customs that are quite different to the Catholic and Christian religions that was predominant in Cuba in the past. But besides of that, we have a lot of similarities. Both Pakistani and Cuban people are very friendly.
All right.
The most important thing for Cuban and Pakistanis are the family.
Okay.
So
so the family culture is same between the two countries?
Yes, the same here. When you see the way that families interact here in Pakistan, during Ramadan or during Eid, it's the same way that we interact in Cuba during our holidays.
Oh, okay.
So what's the most important moment of the year? For you, it's Ramadan. All your family came to your place, or you go to your family place. And in Cuba, it's the end of the year. So all families go together. That's quite similar. Also, the importance of hospitality.
Okay.
So no matter where you came from, if you are in my country, you are my guest. And I have to do the best I can in order to let you feel like you are in your home.
Okay.
Probably the music is different, but the value of music is the same. We listen to different kind of music, but you cannot imagine a wedding in Pakistan without music. You cannot imagine a wedding in Cuba without music.
I mean, you talked about music already.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you, like, music is a universal language, and for that you don't need to understand lyrics, you just need to feel it.
Yeah.
So do you have any favorite Pakistani musicians or singers in your list?
I have to be honest with you, I'm more a book man than a music man. Of course, I have some Pakistani music from time to time. Not very usually, I have to be honest. Of course, I know Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
All right.
As probably the biggest and most famous Pakistani musician in the world. And now mainly in YouTube. Sometimes I just heard some Pakistani music. I cannot tell you the names of the of the singers. And you know, from today, I think that I have to listen more Pakistani music because I used to do it in 2005 when my driver used to put a lot of Pakistani music in my car.
Okay.
Right now, my driver only put foreign music.
Okay, all right.
I'm not scolding him, by the way, but I need to listen more Pakistani music because I'm more a bookman, so I used to read more than to listen music.
Since you already talk about your interest in literature, I mean, do you have any favorite writers? I'm talking about the Pakistanis.
You know, I've been very lucky because I have had the chance to get into a very good friendship with my Pakistani favorite writer, that is Fatima Bhutto.
All right.
She's an old friend of Cuba,
Yes.
and she had a very good relation with Cuba because of his father. And we have been exchanging mails, and it's been very interesting for me because she's a very intelligent woman. I love her books, and we have a very good relation. I love, as I told you, she's my favorite Pakistani writer.
All right.
I've also talked with some days ago with Mohammad Hanif.
Yes.
Mohammad Hanif is the author of my favorite Pakistan book. That is the explosion of the mangoes. Because it's historical, but it's been written in a very, very vivid way.
Okay.
And even when Fatima Bhutto is my favorite writer, my favorite book is The Explosion of Mangoes.
All right.
Of Mohammad Hanif.
Okay, that's so interesting and fascinating to know that you already know much about our country. Excellency, what is your favorite tourist spot here in Pakistan?
As I told you, Muzaffarabad Valley. That's my favorite spot. I want to go again to Muzaffarabad Valley after COVID. There is a second spot, that is Murree.
Murree?
But right now Murree is kind of overcrowded. I remember Murree in 2005. It was a very nice place, almost no people over there. My driver at that time was from Murree. And I have another one, K2 Base Camp number 1.
Oh, K2 Base Camp.
Because I went there in 2006 by helicopter.
All right.
And it was my deepest experience here in Pakistan, is being to fly in a helicopter to K2 Base Camp number 1.
Oh,
It was frightening.
All right. So maybe we're looking forward to that also. I hope you fulfill your adventure.
Well, I have a baby boy right now. It's hard to go to hard places, but I'm really looking forward to explore another places in Pakistan, especially in the south. I want to go to Karachi, but I also want to go to Larkana.
All right.
My friends of Fatima Bhutto and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto Jr. live in Larkana. I used to be in Larkana. I want to go to Peshawar again.
Peshawar.
Some people have told me that Peshawar has changed a lot.
Okay.
I went to Peshawar 15 years ago. And I'm thinking, but I need time. This is what I don't have here. I need time, but before leaving, I think that I will go to all those places. Also want to go to Sialkot. And I hope that I will have the time to work in here and also to go to different places in Pakistan.
All right, Excellency, we talk about food. Is there any similarity when it comes to cuisine between the Cuban cuisine and the Pakistani food?
Well, I think there are some similarities because we use some similar staples, rice or potatoes or meat. But there is one big difference that we don't use. People in Cuba don't use to eat with a lot of spicy.
Okay.
Not for my family. In Cuba, we used to eat spicy food. Yeah, no, but we used to eat spicy food also in Cuba. And when we were living on China, we used to eat the spicy food. But for regular Cuban people, my predecessor here at the embassy, he cannot eat even a single spice food. I love spicy food. And if you see the food that we have in here, you can find some similarities. You have from that place, that rice, we call it congri, that's rice and beans. Here in Pakistan, you eat rice and beans, probably not mix it.
Yes.
That's very typical in Cuba. That's the one that we have for most of our holidays and special occasions.
Okay.
This one that we have over here is a potato with minced beef. I just heard that in some places in Pakistan you do the same.
Yes, it is the same.
Yeah, but this is also a very special dish, and it's we used to, kids love these potatoes. And in the middle one,
Yes.
the king of the crown, you have, we call it flan. This is very typical from Cuba, Mexico, and from some Latin American countries.
Okay.
It's like a custard.
All right.
It's made with eggs and milk. Kids love this one. And when you have a kid that doesn't like to eat regular food, you give them this because it has all the nutrients of eggs and milk. And this is very delicious. Then after we finish, I'm going to invite your crew, your team, just to taste it, and you could tell me, oh, it's okay or no, it's okay.
Sure, Excellency. Looking forward to that. Excellency, you already mentioned about the similarities and differences between the two countries. Did you get a chance to attend any Pakistani wedding here? I mean, you know, most of the foreigners, they say that Pakistani weddings are, you know, they're like long day functions, but it's different when it comes to their culture. Is it the same with you?
Well, I've been to 2 weddings, one in 2006 and one like in March. Different weddings because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I know that I went to the last function of the wedding, not to the whole 3 or 4 days of the wedding. Yeah, that's different. In Cuba, weddings used to last only 1 day by fortune. Imagine how much money do you have to spend in 3 to 4 days. And the difference is that after we get all the families together at the same time. I know that here is first the groom, then the wife, and then all together. In Cuba, it's only 1 day, but the environment is the same. People enjoying, families together, music, dance at some point, and the happy but worried faces of the wife and the husband, because that is your happy day, but you are also have to be taking care of the food of the people who are coming to the wedding.
All right.
So for me, I have married 3 times. You can cut that if you want. But for me, I remember my first wedding was stressing, very stressful. And here in Pakistan, I really enjoy the weddings, and I think this is a very nice cultural feature of the country.
All right. So, Excellency, what do you like most about the capital, Islamabad?
Well, first the green areas. Islamabad is a very green city, and coming from a city like Havana that it has also a lot of green, a lot of trees, and here I'm not missing that. When I was living in Beijing, I was missing the green, the parks, the trees.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that I love in Islamabad, the green, all the greenery. And the second one that I really like
so
here...
it's giving you a home-like feeling.
Yeah.
Just the way it is in Cuba.
It gives me that kind of home feeling. And it's also very good because it keeps the air fresh.
Yeah.
And the second one is something that I don't have in Cuba, that is Margala Hills.
All right.
So it's the first thing that I saw every morning. I just open my curtains and the Margala Hills are over there.
All right.
And I know, because I just got that feeling before, that I'm going to miss Margala Hills in front of my home.
All right. Excellency, you also mentioned that in your free time you love to cook.
Yeah.
So do you still do that here in Pakistan also?
Yeah. From working reasons, I don't cook from Monday to Friday. I have my chef here, but I'm cooking on weekends.
All right.
That's a hobby that I have. It gives me very good times. It allows me to relax. And because of my travels around the world, I know how to cook Chinese food, Italian food, and wishing I can learn to cook some Pakistani food.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yeah, not only samosas, that are very easy, but I would love to learn how to cook, for instance, nihari. And that's a hobby. I have 2 hobbies. One is cooking and the other one is football.
All right.
And here I cannot play football because of COVID, but I can cook.
Excellency, it was a wonderful experience interviewing you today, and I hope you continue to enjoy your stay here in Pakistan.
Thank you very much. I also would like to thank you to your channel, to your professional team, very professional team. And I hope that we can have chances to meet again in the future and to inform to your audience, the audience of your show or on Indus News, about new developments of Cuba-Pakistan relations. I'm very happy. As I told you, this is only the second interview that I'm giving to Pakistani TV. I'm very picky about my interviews. And I'm very, very happy to have chosen Indus News and your show specifically to give this interview that has also been an amazing opportunity for me to share with our Pakistani friends. So thank you very much.
Thank you for this pleasure. So that's all for today. I will see you guys next week with another exciting episode of Visitors Spoke. You can follow us on our social media handles at indus.news. It's a goodbye for now.